Oh, I love this cutscene, it's just so adorable. Same goes for Cereza's theme, because it's just so sweet.
What happened to Mummy?
Well, you see, she just went to look for something, that's all. I can't believe that witch, placing a poor helpless child under her spell. If she did anything to this little girl's parents, I swear.
Mommy.
No need to cry. We'll get you to your mom in no time. Here, I've got some candy if you want.
What is this? It's yummy.
I don't know. It's candy. Strawberry, I think?
Hey, Kitty, I've got some yummies. Would you like some?
Is that cat your friend?
Yes, he is. His name is Cheshire. He's cute, isn't he?
Cheshire. What a stupid name. Well, so much for taking the highway. That just means we're gonna have to find something else. Now, all I have to figure out is what to do about you. So, Cerecita, that woman's really your mom?
Uh-huh. My mummy is strong, and she protects me from scary monsters.
Monsters? I don't think you know who the real monsters are. Huh?
So yes, it seems things are going a little bit haywire in the real world. So we need to hurry up as quickly as possible. Annoyingly, we have another one of these spike-killing corridors. So just try and get through that as best as possible. But other than that, yeah, as soon as you reach the gates of hell, it's time to head all the way back. Because they're just lovely like that. There's an Alfheim hidden all the way back as far as we can go, which is just wonderful. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Chapter 10 is another one of the chapters where you are very, very likely to lose a lot of health. Even more so than, well, probably about the same as Chapter 5, but Chapter 5 is definitely harder because you won't have as much health. Now, pretty much the best tactic for getting through the Use Angel Arms Alfheims is to use the pole to do the spinny move, to take down kind of most of the kind of like the deer and decorations and so on. And then the second you get onto like Grace and Glory, switch over to the bow immediately, because it's so much more powerful and can get you through a lot quicker. And the same goes for using it on the Fairness. Although, seeing as the bow decided it wasn't going to turn up for me as soon as I wanted it, it was just like, quick, get something to attack with. Thankfully that Alpine wasn't too horrendous. Sometimes they can be pretty horrible. I think we've got some of the most fiendish coming up later. Although we certainly have already faced some of the incredibly fiendish ones. So let's head on all the way back to where the Gates of Hell was. But even then, we aren't done with the chapter yet. Well, there's a verse which is in the area right after the Gates of Hell. But there's also a hidden chapter, well, a hidden verse that we need to do. As well as even more Alfheims, I believe. Actually, no, there's not any more Alfheims, but there is this hidden verse all the way over here. Now, basically, you only have one chance to get to this verse, so you have got to watch it. You've just got to make sure you jump correctly as with Beast Within to get it.
What are you buying? Heard that in a game once.
Now at this point, you couldn't get the Eternal Testimony, which is very, very, very helpful later on. And I do mean that it's particularly helpful for chapter 14. As I will point out when we get to chapter 14. So let's try and make it to this hidden verse. I mean, it's not too hard. It just kind of a little bit of timing is required is all. But yeah, if you miss it, then you have to restart the chapter, which is really mean. But oh well. So yes, we have to face the wonderful, gracious, and glorious again. Because they just love us so much. Thankfully, we only have to face off against Gracious and Glorious once more, I believe, in our run of Bayonetta. But if you are playing on harder difficulties, then you have at least 3 fights with them in this verse, well, in this chapter alone, rather than the one compulsory one and one optional one. I think there's like 3 compulsory ones, so they know how to provide a challenge to Platinum Games. Now, as I'm recording this commentary, I've actually only played 2 games by Platinum Games as Platinum Games, because obviously I've played Okami from when they were Clover Studios, but yeah, I've only played Bayonetta and Anarchy Reigns, because I never quite got around to playing any of the earlier titles, which I've always felt really bad about. But kind of very recently managed to find Mad World and Vanquish, so I picked them up and I'm going to play through them and enjoy them, because Platinum have never really put a foot wrong with me, really. Even though, like, Anarchy Reigns has its problems, it's still enjoyable. And obviously Bayonetta kind of is one of, if not my favourite video game of all time. So yeah, it's just kind of, I just like it a lot more. So I'm looking forward to enjoying the rest of the Platinum Games catalogue. And then I can say I have played every game by Platinum Games. Apart from Infinite Space, which was never released outside of Japan, I don't think. Which is unfortunate, but oh well. Now don't worry, I am going to be kind of switching up my weapon layout soon. Only ever so slightly though. It's going to, I believe, switch to Scarborough Fair and Kilgore, just because it's kind of my a decent layout. Although, kind of, after finishing recording Bayonetta, I have kind of come to the understanding that Onyx Roses aren't as bad as I initially thought they were. Largely because kind of the spray on the shooting's quite helpful. So yeah, it basically kind of, I have never been particularly adventurous with the using different weapons. So yeah. So I'd say a decent kind of weapon loadout, if you kind of wanted it, would be Onyx Roses on hands and Kilgore on your feet. Because that kind of, then you get kind of decent damage, but also you can have the wonder that is Kilgore, because Kilgore is just beastly. And is so useful for defeating bosses in particular. Also, I really dislike this verse. I don't know, it's just I'm terrible at hitting the bloomin' inspired. So it's taking far, far longer than it should do. Because the thing is that the inspired really should be attacking me so that I can attack it, rather than just flying around constantly. So yeah, I just fail. This is turning out to be a rather poor showing for the last verse of this chapter, but I've never been good at this verse, ever. It's just kind of the way it works. And if I recall correctly, there are actually 2 inspireds that we have to face off against, so... which is rather annoying. Although maybe not necessarily, I'm just taking absolutely forever take this one down. There are definitely far superior ways of dealing with this inspired, but I'm just really not doing a very good job of it. Oh no, there is another inspired. I thought there was. Yeah. This is what happens when kind of my skill runs low. Although kind of once you've got an inspired in this position, they're quite easy to destroy. It's just getting them to kind of die. You see that's how bad that verse went. Although at least it wasn't a stone. That is kind of the worst it can be. So yeah, what you've got to do is use the Witch Time statues to run across water again. I thought I was going to try and be fancy and it didn't work. Oh dear, things seem to be going on in the real world. Let's head on through the portal and save them. That actually went surprisingly well, apart from those 2 verses.
I should have been a pole dancer.
I'm quite impressed with that. So once again, I've never This is like the first time I've been doing this well on Bayonetta. Especially on these later chapters. Because they are really hard. Yes, before we can move on to the next chapter, we have a bit more angel attack to get through. Which is always fun at the end of a chapter, it's just kind of a nice chill thing. Although it does get in the way if you're trying to kind of speed through, annoyingly. Either way, it's time to return to reality. And tackle Chapter 11, The Cardinal Virtue of Justice.